Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've not been here before, then I guess just welcome. Now before we start this video, I have to clear with you that I am not the kind of person who takes pictures and videos of everything like most other YouTube vloggers. So right now in school, we're currently in our February week off, and if you haven't been keeping up with me on Twitter and Facebook, then you wouldn't know that I have been in London for the first few days of this week. I said in my last video that being down in London for the first time would probably be an experience, and I think, to be honest, that was pretty true. However, before we get too ahead of ourselves, then I'm going to give you a little rundown of what I did in the 3 days I was in London. So let's go straight to Sunday morning. Our train left Edinburgh Waverley around 10:30, aided my ticket, and got into London at about 2 to 3 o'clock. So we got into King's Cross and then we headed to HQ, which was in Euston, and then after a hot chocolate we went off and had a little walk around and sightseeing. So first of all we went to Trafalgar Square, which I have to say was pretty awesome, and after that we headed down to the Westminster kind of area with Downing Street and things like that. So then after about 6 hours of walking we headed back to HQ where we had dinner, and that was the end of day 1. Day 2. On day 2 we headed on to the Underground for the first time ever. I have to say that the Underground in London is a lot more complicated than the one in Glasgow. I mean, for example, here's a picture of the London Underground system, and here's a picture of the Glasgow Underground system. I think you can kind of see where my confusion was. So then once we got off the Underground we headed up to the Meridian in Greenwich, which was very cool, and it was there that I got my wristy bandy, prime meridian of the world 00000. So then after that we headed along to the Underground again and caught the Underground to the city centre-ish area, don't know where it was. And there we found St Paul's Cathedral. Now if you've never been in St Paul's Cathedral then you will not know how epic it is. Like seriously mind-blowing. With all the painted roofs and all the galleries and all the gold statues, and then in the crypt where there's like Nelson buried and other people, it's just insane. I think that that's probably one of the best bits of the whole trip, like going into St Paul's Cathedral and just seeing all the art and all the architecture. It was crazy. So then after some more wandering we headed off to Buckingham Palace and the Mall. So we got to Buckingham Palace, and then after about 10 minutes of watching the guards walking backwards and forwards quite amusingly, we headed back up the Mall towards Trafalgar Square again. Then after that we headed to the London Eye. The London Eye was terrifying. It was quite scary whenever it stopped, and then when it restarted and the motor went, it was quite terrifying. However, you do get a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful view of the whole of London, and yeah, it was really, really nice actually. Although at the end you're meant to get your photo taken, but the camera we went to was broken. Once you get off the London Eye you can go into the little souvenir shop in there, and in that souvenir shop I bought this giant pen. Yes, I know it looks like a dildo. End of day 2. So day 3 was pretty much dedicated to shopping in Oxford Street and Regent Street. While on Oxford Street and Regent Street we went into Hamleys, the Ferrari store, Liberty's, and eventually we got down to Abercrombie and Fitch, which is where I got this because I'm a preppy git. So then we just walked around and went into Piccadilly Circus and got a massive chocolate muffin from this awesome bakery that was around the corner from there, and then went through Chinatown and then headed onto the Underground, and then went to HQ and then left and went back to King's Cross and train home. So yeah, that was my London experience. I hope you all enjoyed me talking about it and blabbing about my preppiness. Overall though, I think that the whole London trip was fantastic! That looked like a sex face. So yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Ciao amigos. Thank you so much to everyone who got me up to 400 followers on Twitter. That was kind of my goal for 2012, but seeing as it's only February, I'm thinking maybe I should boost that up to 500 or even maybe 600. So go to www.twitter.com/RoscoBrannigan to help me get up to 500. Bye everyone! like a dildo, 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 like a dildo.